Hi Aries, welcome to your September 2017 love reading. It's Raina here. I want to make an announcement. I'm very excited to let you know that if you're single and looking, you may be interested in my I'm Ready for My Soulmate or Love Partner love reading. And this is going to be, so it's primarily for singles, but for people who are in unhappy relationships, I suppose it could be instructive for them as well. This is going to be on Vimeo, so I'm going to provide a link below if you're interested in that. I've devised a special spread, and I'm also going to include some oracle cards with that to deal with that love reading. But what I like about it is that it's a combination of what you can do along with maybe timing issues and things like that. So it's kind of all-encompassing. And so these are my love readings on YouTube. Wow, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, for the heart of the matter, you got a very nostalgic, romantic card, I would say. Would I connect this to Cancer? I don't know. But this is the Six of Cups, and this is a soulmate card. And this can be, you know, in September, as the month begins, we still have a Mercury retrograde for the first 5 days. And that can sometimes bring people from the past. This is a card of nostalgia. So nostalgia is obviously looking at the past. It could bring somebody from your past. Maybe it's a high school sweetheart, an elementary school sweetheart even. And this person may be on your mind. Whether or not you're actually meeting up with them, talking to them is a different story, but you may have had some communication. They may have come out of nowhere. You may have just been on Facebook and all of a sudden you saw his name or her name and was like, wow, I haven't, you know, this person is still around. And you got in contact with them and took it from there. Sometimes this is just about you thinking about your relationship, your marriage, compared to what the concept of a soulmate is. And this could be more like your relationship. The Nine of Swords, where there is a sense of total anxiety. This could actually be an air sign person. It's interesting because Aries, your opposite sign is Libra, which is one of the air signs. So you may find yourself gravitating towards your complementary sign and yet having challenges with that person for whatever reason. And it's interesting because Libra Jupiter is in Libra, so Jupiter is in your 7th house. And that should actually be good for marital issues. But you have, you know, you have some stuff happening with career. You have Pluto in the 10th house. You've got Uranus in your own sign. So you may have been going through a lot of changes, and that may be impacting your relationship. But this is a card that feels like somebody who is staying up all night thinking about maybe the relationship, and or maybe somebody's causing you to stay up all night because of their antics. And what we have right now is represented by the Hierophant. So in some cases, you may be sticking around because you're thinking, well, I have to fulfill my marital vows, even if you're in anguish. If you're in anguish, I would definitely think that you would want to do something about this. But it's possible that you have hooked up with somebody, and when I say hooked up, it could just be like communication, and it's creating that sense of, I don't know, angst within you because you feel like it's threatening your marriage. Even if you haven't actually done anything about it on the physical level, you may just feel like this emotional affair. That could possibly be it. And so the higher message is represented by the Ace of Cups. And by the way, if this is not somebody from your past, this could be a water sign individual. Cancer is a big one for Aries because you're both cardinal signs. Pisces is right next to you. And then, of course, there is Scorpio. But that person may have a lot of water in their chart and be a fire sign. You never know. But this card, as the spiritual message, is saying that that relationship, that this other person may be part of your new pattern. Perhaps you have a new phase in life. The ace is the beginning of something. So it could be that if you're married, it's run its course. And if you are really hung up on the idea of, oh, I have to honor my marriage vow, and yet you feel like you are in a state of anxiety all the time, then you have to question whether or not this relationship is going to bring you peace of mind or not. Maybe this is really a relationship that is toxic, and you have to face facts. Sometimes I think that these people come along to kind of be a bridge for us to go from one phase of life to another. And so whether or not you would even stay with this person is another story, but maybe you need that to get out of a bad situation. I don't know. What crosses you is represented by the Six of Pentacles. And you can see that there's somebody in a position to be giving and somebody's taking. Sometimes this is dealing with issues surrounding a person who is prosperous and another person who is materially disadvantaged, at least at the moment. In a relationship like this, and given that you're an Aries person, you may be a very generous person and have attracted somebody who is a taker. And I don't even like to use the word taker because sometimes another person can give to the relationship in another way. It doesn't have to be tit for tat in terms of material resources. Maybe they're a great cook, maybe they, whatever. But I think you know where I'm going with this. And sometimes there can be situations where one person is really just taking advantage of the generosity of somebody else and not committing to the relationship and using them. That's basically what it is. So you have to have that self-awareness to see if this is happening. And sometimes Aries, you're so active, you're so involved in your own thing that you might not even be aware that it's happening. And that can, create problems. So this is something that you resolve from day one, when you're in a new relationship, where you set the tone by not focusing on too much of the material things, giving a lot of presents and stuff like that. Not because you don't want to be generous, but you don't want to attract people that are just going to be interested in that. I always say that very rarely because I don't want to discourage generosity. I think generosity is a wonderful thing. But I think you know what I mean. what is coming in the near future is represented by the Eight of Pentacles, or this can be advice. This can be a situation of trying to make something work. Perhaps you have a marriage that is worth putting, investing time and work into. And maybe there's anxieties, but perhaps it still has some good points to it, working on your marriage. Or this could be that you are going to throw yourself into your work. And in the meantime, you may be deciding that you're ready to leave a relationship that is no longer serving you. And you have this new relationship that is budding, and that will free you up for something much more suitable. With the Six of Cups, this would be a relationship that is much more in alignment with who you are. So that's the difference between a former relationship and this Six of Cups relationship. And the outcome is the Seven of Cups. And this can be like your options opening up for you. This can sometimes be a card of like saying, be careful of what you, well, not be careful of what you wish for, but make wise choices. Because this could be saying something may look good. And if this is like an old lover or somebody from the past, they may try to really gussy up their image. But be careful that you're not just in this mode of nostalgia, that you are not seeing the relationship for what it is, or actually seeing that person for who they are. The other thing about this, Aries, is that this card can indicate a transitional period for you, and it's showing the confusion that may be going through your mind as you're trying to deal with these changes in your life. So it's just a matter of, be careful of wishful thinking. That's what this card can represent as well. I like wishful thinking when it is really in alignment with my greatest good. But if you kind of are not focused on what it is that you want, and you just are saying, I don't want this current relationship, you may wander into a new relationship, and it could possibly be no better than what you're dealing with right now. The other thing is, I think it's always a good idea to have time for yourself, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship. And even if you have prospects for a new relationship, you might tell the other person, look, I'm very interested in this, but I do need some downtime. I need some time to reflect. I need some time to kind of regroup. So let's pick this up in 6 months. And if the person is like, I want to do something now, or forget about it, then you know that perhaps this wouldn't have been a long-term thing anyway. Maybe it would just be a fling. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a personal reading, please visit me at RainaMoonAstrology.com. I have the link below. Otherwise, have an awesome month. Bye.